Hey guys, I am going to show you today one of my autumnal designs, and this soap is available in my shop right now. So I'm going to show you how to do a kind of a textured, layered look. These do not have perfect flat lines. There are 3 layers, and then I have a frosting layer on top. I am preparing the frosting, and saying frosting is literally just, it's soap. It's the exact same recipe as my base bar. It just is usually piped or some kind of decoration on the top. That's why it's called frosting. It's not actual frosting. It's not a different recipe. Some people do use a different recipe, but I don't. I used to, but I just found it was too putsy for the size and scale that I was making, that it wasn't worth the time of doing a completely different recipe. So here what I'm doing is I've measured off the amount for the frosting. Now I have the exact amount that I need for each layer. And what I did was I measured the pot, the white pitcher, with all of the soap in it, and then I subtracted the weight of the pitcher. I know the exact weight of the pitcher because I've done this a million times. Well, 500. Okay, so not a million. But I wanted to see exactly how much I would need in each layer. So that way I would know how much fragrance oil to put in each layer. If you put too much fragrance oil in one layer, it might discolor it more than you're planning. So as much as I would love to say that soap making is like making a big pot of stew, where you just throw a little bit of this and a little bit of that in, it's really not. I have tried to do soap making like that, and not like the lye and the oils, but like the additives, the fragrances. But truly, it is not just an art, it is also a science. So I have this chunky layer in. I'm not going to straighten or flatten it out. I really want a rustic kind of look. And I'm reusing my pitcher for the second layer. The first layer was activated charcoal, cocoa powder, and a little bit of used coffee grounds. Now, if you have coffee grounds that you want to put into your soap, it's very important that you have used coffee grounds. That sounds gross. It's not. It's not gross. It just means the hot water has been poured through. It's been brewed once. If you don't, the little granules have almost like a halo around them, and they can start to seep. So you don't want that in your soap. So using grounds that have already been processed, already been used to make coffee is important. So then the second layer, I used cocoa powder and then a little bit of coffee grounds as well. I did want to have like a little exfoliation, a little bit of scrubbiness to this bar. And I also wanted like a chunky gradient. I didn't want a smooth, seamless gradient. I wanted a rustic, chunky, layered gradient. So having that activated charcoal in the bottom layer helped darken it up, and then this one is a little lighter, and then the next layer is going to be lighter still. And the fragrance oil is a beautiful blend of several different autumnal scents. It's a little bit spicy, like cinnamon and clove, but then has some pumpkin undertones and a little bit of patchouli. It's just really lovely. And through the cure, it mellowed out to just a really nice soft scent. So it's not overpowering. I just love it. But another thing about this scent, this fragrance oil blend does discolor. So here I'm adding some titanium dioxide because I do want fragrance oil in the top layer, but I don't want it to discolor to like dark brown. Anything that has vanillin in it, the higher percentage of vanillin, the more it is going to discolor. And in a design like this, I want a brown soap. Like I was going for brown. That was my design. But I didn't want every layer to be dark brown. So adding a little bit of titanium dioxide and making sure my percentage of vanillin in my fragrance oil didn't like completely overwhelm everything, because sometimes you're fighting a losing battle, and I know every new soap maker thinks they are going to be the one that's going to conquer vanillin discoloration. They're like, no, I'm going to figure this out. I'm sorry, friend, it has been tried. You are like kicking against a bull. It's not going to work with it. Embrace it. Embrace the discoloration. You can make beautiful soap that does discolor, and it can be part of your design. It's really okay. It really is. I promise you can make beautiful soap that has discolored It's okay. It's the chemical process. It is the chemical process. So this top one, I just did a little bit of titanium dioxide and coffee grounds, and you can tell already it's not pure white. That discoloration has started already in this. And then I'm going to show you at the end the cured bars of soap, how they discolored. And this, the white, I thought I wasn't going to add any fragrance to it at all, but it just wasn't setting up. And if you add a little bit of fragrance oil, that's the titanium dioxide, and then if you add a little bit of fragrance oil to it, it will help speed things along, because these fragrance oil, this blend, is one that accelerates trace. So it does move things along, which is great if you're doing layers, and that's what I was doing. So this I'm getting ready to pipe onto the top. I wanted it to look like frosting, kind of like a fall beverage, that you might order. I'm not saying it because I am not a fan. I am not a fan of specific fall beverages that everyone goes wild over. I was a barista for 5 years. I never understood the pumpkin thing. I just never got it. Like, what is wrong with you people? I don't get this. Maybe you have to like pumpkin pie though, and I don't. I don't like pumpkin pie, so I just can't. I can't do it. It's like vomit in my mouth. It's the texture. I'm a texture person. I just could never do it. So this frosting set up at a lightning speed, and I could not work with it. And you'll see the moment I realize I'm not doing this, you will see it. You will see it when it happens. I laid down a little bit of wax paper. I like to be able to practice to make sure my frosting is set up. And if I have extra, I can use that little wax paper to like pipe some florets or something for a future design. You can already see I'm struggling. The soap is solidifying in the piping bag. It's going through gel phase, and I'm getting ready to give up on this. I'm getting ready to pivot. Right there is my pivoting moment. In soap making, you have to be able to pivot, or you will probably just get frustrated or give up. Sometimes you have a design in mind and you really want to go for it, but things happen, especially if you're new. If you have not made soap for very long, or if you have and you're working with a new material, maybe you're trying a new fragrance oil and it just did not perform the way you thought it would. You have to be able to decide split second, what am I going to do right now in this moment with the information I have? Am I going to just give up, or am I going to pivot? Am I going to change my design? I put a little bit of coffee grounds on the top for added interest. It does also add a little bit of extra scrub. And it's biodegradable. It's not going to clog anything. It's just a little amount. And I am totally OCD about cleaning up the edges. I cannot have messy edges on my soap liner. I can't. I really struggle with that. So you will not see a dirty or messy soap liner. I have to wipe those edges off. This was only a few hours after pour. It did go through a really toasty gel phase. So that gives you a really nice opportunity to cut a lot sooner than maybe you would. If you have a steep water discount, if you allow for a toasty gel phase, those are things that allow you to cut a lot sooner. And your recipe also. If you have a lot of olive oil, you might not be able to cut as soon, but if you have a lot of hard oils, you usually can. So here is after the cure. These bars, like I said, are in my shop right now, so you can go snag one of them if you would like to. It's over at bluehavensoapery.etsy.com. That is my shop. And from time to time, I like to show my face. This is my face wearing sunglasses. This was just the other day, out in nature, breathing it in, trying to just take life as it comes. And I hope that you guys will do the same today. When you're watching this video, just take a deep breath. Unclench your jaw, lower your shoulders. It's okay. It's going to be okay. You've survived everything you've gone through up until this point, and you will survive this too. Whatever you may be going through at this point in time. I am so proud of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you again in the next one.